lined up for you. I'm your host, Kim Jacobs, better known as the Balance Doctor. And all of our guests that come on, they're either people that have overcome some tremendous odds in their own lives as they balance this thing called life, or they're experts and they're here to share tips and strategies that will help you better balance and manage your life. Grab your virtual seats and let's get ready for some real relevant and relatable content on today's episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. I am so honored to have Elisa Rogers with us today, and you are in for a tremendous treat to learn about what we're talking about today, which is grief, pieces of peace. How do we get peace in the midst of grief? I'm so glad to have you here today, Elisa. How are you?
I am well. Thank you, Kim. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm telling you, it's almost like, you know how you have Picasso and all of this beautiful art that's out there. You look like a work of art is when I see you, I just see something so elegant and regal. Is that intentional that you have that going on?
Well, I've heard that before. This is me. This is just me.
Wow. Well, you are a beautiful work of art. And I don't say that. People know I don't just say that to everybody, because then it'll be like, Kim say that to everybody to come on. I promise you I don't. But I don't even say that about myself. So here's the thing. I'm complimenting you higher than I even compliment myself. Mm-hmm. And I'm really glad to have you here today. Really glad.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I look forward to sharing with you.
We're going to have a great time. Listen, everybody, grab your virtual seats and make sure you go ahead and share this broadcast with your friends. Many of you know now that we're streaming in 100 countries thanks to CTR Media Network. And we're also now on Roku and Apple TV and Android TV, Spotify TV. So you name it. The Kim Jacobs Show is bringing balance to the world, one household at a time. And today, our special guest, Elisa L. Rogers, is MS, MA, LCM, HC. Yes, I'm going to give all of those nuggets because it's important that we know who's before us. LPC. She holds an MA with a dual focus in clinical mental health, counseling, and school counseling. She's a licensed clinical therapist, certified child-centered play therapist, and a wellness coach. So all of the things that she's going to be talking about today, she is well-versed in these subject matters. She has experience in serving and presenting within school systems, community agencies, faith-based organizations, and private practice in the areas of trauma, anxiety, depression, adjustment, grief, and loss. Now, I'm going to also let her talk to you today about all of the many accolades that she brings to salt this earth, but she's also been married for many, many years, many that people aspire to achieve. I'll let her talk about the exact number of years. Well, I'll go ahead and tell you 30. Okay. And she also has one 22-year-old son, DJ, who is a university senior and student athlete. Needless to say, she is also heavily involved in ministry. And I have to say a quick shout out to her pastor, who is Superintendent Demetrius K. Samuel Sr., and she serves under Bishop Stenneth Emmanuel Powell and Mother Patricia D. Lofton as our supervisor of women. I say all of that to say I'm a part of the Church of God in Christ too, y'all. So we got to give a shout out to our leaders. So glad to have Elisa Rogers here today on the Kim Jacobs Show. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, so listen, today it's a heavy topic, in my opinion, because it's a lot that we have to unpack with this. What I really want to do is just allow you the opportunity to take us back on your journey and tell us what you've had to experience to become who you are today. So let's just start there.
Okay. Well, initially, I did not start off on the road of clinical mental health. I was actually in advertising. And did that for a while, thoroughly enjoyed it, and wound up working at my alma mater and got my first master's degree in leadership and human service administration.
Okay.
And which is basically a nonprofit MBA. While doing that, I felt compelled and drawn to listen, to share, to help with wellness. And I was told, hold on, you need a license for that. And I said, oh, okay. So over time, I started to go into other areas, but felt a pull to clinical mental health.
Okay.
And when I actually honored what I believe the Lord was calling me to do, I earned my second master's in clinical mental health counseling with a dual focus in school counseling.
Okay.
After earning the second master's, I was a middle school counselor and student support manager. And that is where I saw the need for therapy at an early age.
Mm-hmm.
Because when it's caught early, there are some things that we as adults will not even need to deal with, nor pass on to those that we love.
Good.
Regarding grief and loss, my parents were married for 2 years, and I was born somewhere in there. So I don't even remember living with my biological father.
Wow.
My mother remarried. My stepfather was in the home for about 6 years, and then not so much. My mother almost died when I was 9,
Mm.
and my biological father died when I was 10. So there was a fear of grief and loss,
Okay.
and then the confirmation of grief and loss a year later.
Mm.
And I bring that up because as an adolescent, our brains are still developing.
That's right.
And there was a lot that I went through without therapy that now, as a licensed therapist and play therapist, I see how I would have valued and benefited from having therapy at a young age.
Wow. Okay. That would you know what? You just said like 60 episodes in that initial opening. You had a mother who almost died, and so that really shifted your direction towards learning more about trauma, loss, and then you also had your dad your biological father who did pass away when you were the age of 9 is what I.
So mom almost died at 9.
And your dad at 10. You were
And my father did die when I was 10.
10 years old. Okay, so now, and then you were raised somewhat for 6 years or so by your stepdad. So you had situations in the home where you were seeing situations where people were being removed from different aspects of your life. And so do you feel like that helped you decide that you would be more focused in this particular area of trauma, grief, and loss as a part of your work?
I think it happened naturally because I had an understanding and an awareness for what people would need as they journeyed toward wellness. I also suffered, I didn't know if I could have children. And when I did get pregnant, I lost my first pregnancy.
Oh my gosh.
So there were a lot of moving parts with grief and loss. And when I accepted, I believe, the call to be a therapist, grief and loss was one of the areas that I was really able to reach my clients in.
That's good. And you say you accepted your call because you don't look at this as just what you do for a living. This is something that you do really we call it salting the earth, in my opinion. And how do you feel the differences between you salting the earth and working in your calling versus just getting licensed to do this as a career choice?
Because this calling is something that I am not burned out from. This is something that I feel passionate about. And I'm always looking for ways to aid my clients in reaching their wellness more efficiently, more effectively, more well-rounded. And it's a natural desire to do. It's not a tug. It's not in terms of a draining.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something where I feel as though, oh, here we go, another day.
Right.
This is a desire to help others be their best selves, because we know that there are areas of separation and degrees that they will impact others. So when I impact one, they're impacting seven, right?
Hmm. Yes, yes. Okay. Well, why do you think that mental health is still such a difficult topic
Mm.
that people, especially in the faith-based community, struggle with? Any thoughts on why it's such a hard pill to swallow?
That's a really good question. Part of it is cultural, right? And we know cultural is more than just what we look like, optics, but culture can be defined as shared ideas, values, and beliefs held among a group of people. So we can have culture with our race or ethnicity. We can have culture within our spiritual faith-based groups. We can have culture in our professions, culture in our neighborhoods, right?
That's right. That's
So
right.
when we look at what we are probably first
Hmm.
predisposed to in terms of race and ethnics,
Hmm.
we know what we know and we don't know what we don't know. And once we accept that, even though we've heard the adage, what's done in this house
Right, Stace.
stays in this house,
Right.
when we realize that there may be a need to reach outside of our homes
Hmm.
to be well,
That's right.
then we can accept the help. And I am so grateful for my church, for my district, for my jurisdiction that looks at the value of mental health. I have a friend that did her dissertation on the value of having prayer
Hmm.
and medication, right?
Prayer and medication. Okay,
Right.
that's
So
appropriate.
there are a lot of things that we can use what may be considered through a secular lens of the
Mhm.
world,
That's
but
right.
God allows different types of healings. Even in the Bible, all the blind that were not healed the same,
That's right.
right? All the lepers were not healed the same. So when we look at how Jesus used different methods of healing, we want to allow God to allow us to heal in ways that are through a word focused lens, yet it meets the need of the body of Christ.
That's good. That's good. Girl, you're gonna have me over here slain in the spirit because you preaching, really, believe it. I just tagged your pastor too. I was like, I'm trying to make sure when I was looking down, I was tagging the pastor. Pastor Demetrius Samuel. How important do you think it is that your faith kicked in order to shape your whole philosophy in being a licensed clinical therapist? Because most people have their natural clinical therapy practices, but you've infused faith and clinical therapy. How important is
Yes.
that to you?
Well, I went to a faith based school, Regent University,
Yeah.
and I remember during one of the residencies, a cohort asked one of our professors, so we're at a faith based school. Should we have a faith based practice? And the professor said, well, ultimately, that is up to you.
Right.
He said, but I do want you to keep in mind that there are some clients you will have that may never go to a faith based
Right.
practice. So if you keep your options open, then you're able to meet more the needs of more people.
That's
Now, when I go through the assessment, I
right.
ask, which is the first session, I ask a lot of questions. I
Okay.
get all in my client's business because that allows me to know if I'm a candidate to work with them and
Right.
if they want to work with me, because you always get a choice in your care.
That's right.
One of the questions in the assessment is, what is your religious, faith based, or spiritual worldview?
Okay.
And this allows the person to let me know where they are and if they even want to open the door for faith during the session.
Oh, good. I love that.
If they don't, then I honor that.
Okay.
Ethically, as a licensed clinical mental health therapist, I honor that.
That's good.
However, if they open the door and they say, well, Elisa, I'm so glad you asked, then they now allow me to meet their needs not only through the diagnostic statistical manual, number
Mhm.
5 point, whatever the newest edition is, but I can also meet them where they are through the word of God.
Okay, that's good. So I actually think I don't think that I've ever heard that before. Normally, I've hear either you are practicing just from the natural perspective, or you are a Christian based, faith based clinical therapist. But I really love your approach, which is, which way do you want me to serve you? Because it's best to serve people the way they need to be helped. There's no need to come and help somebody. It's like, I didn't even want that kind of help. That's not even what I expected from you or needed from you. So I really appreciate your approach to your practice and your gifting. And I also am a big believer that God created the physicians, created the clinical therapists, the mental health experts. So whatever advice they're giving, yes, we want to use our God-given sense and use wisdom and discernment, but we also want to hear some of the things that they're saying, because that's their gifting. Do you share in that similar philosophy?
Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I when I go to my dentist, now it just so happens I have a faith-based dental practice that I go to.
Mhm.
But I need someone who can take care of my teeth, right?
Right.
When I go to my primary care physician, I need someone that knows this human body and allowing me to have knowledge. Then I apply that with my relationship with God. God can give me wisdom in being my best self. This is a whole man.
That's right.
My primary care physician is not my pastor. I do not go to her and ask her for a word. I'm going to her for a checkup. And when I look at how people are giving their expertise,
Mm-hmm.
then I can receive their expertise through the path that they're giving it.
That's right. That's good. Okay, so yes, I agree with everything that you're saying. So I believe that you go to the specialist that's required for that particular situation and let God use their gifting to talk to that specific need. So this is good. So what advice do you give Christians, especially I know because we're from a Christian perspective here, that are struggling with anxiety and depression, and they feel like the weight of the world is on their shoulders, even though they're praying harder, but they're not necessarily getting the outcome that they're looking for? What advice would you give them?
So when we look at, say, anxiety, depression, trauma, let's just look at those top three things, and grief and loss, those four things. Um, a diagnosis is usually given when we look at three things. We're looking at what the presentations are, how long the presentations have occurred, and the severity of when they do occur.
Mm-hmm.
Those three things help a practitioner give a diagnosis for fill in the blank.
Right.
If a person is dealing with anything that is now causing a problem in their quality of life, it needs to be addressed.
That's good.
If it's causing a problem with self care, getting out of bed, brushing your teeth, personal hygiene, sleep hygiene, it needs to be dealt with. Is it causing a problem with caring for the family, for the home?
Yeah.
It needs to be addressed. Is it causing a problem with you at school, with you at work, with you at church? It's now a problem that has now gone just from I feel sad to it is causing negative impairment in my life.
Yes.
It needs to be addressed.
Well, when you say, the thing is, a lot of, because every time what you're saying, I know on the looking in, from an outside looking in perspective, there are situations in every family, in every church, we see this is a significant problem and it needs to be addressed. But sometimes, Elisa, the people that are the ones that may need the help don't see that for themselves. So how do you really get people to see inwardly that this is a problem, and I need to stop being in denial and get some help? Because we see help is needed, but they don't see help is needed. So now we're clashing.
So I'm going to give you an example. Years ago, when I was an adjunct instructor, and this was also before I was a therapist. I was still in advertising. I was teaching advertising. And students would come to me and share things that I knew was outside of my wheelhouse to handle.
Right.
Okay. And I remember one particular time a student shared something with me. And I said, how about we talk during my office hour? It came during my office hour. And I said, oh boy. This is I'm an instructor at a university. I'm not a therapist.
Right.
So most schools have therapy on campus where students you're paying tuition. Most accredited schools will allow students to see a therapist on campus for between 4 to 6 sessions. Okay. If more sessions are needed during one semester, then they are referred to an outside clinical mental health therapist. So that's just a golden nugget for all college students and parents who are paying for their students. There's help there. Okay.
That's important. Let's put a pin in it there for 1 second.
Yes.
How many of you all, this is a show about how we balance our lives. We are parents. I have children that are in college right now, and I did not know that particular information. And so that is just a huge takeaway nugget. Somebody type it in the comments section that if you have a student that is in college or a university somewhere around the country, they offer what?
Clinical mental health counseling on campus. It is paid for because it's part of tuition. It is private. It's ethical. And the student can schedule their own appointment. And if they feel like, I didn't vibe well with that therapist, there are others. The student, just like anywhere else, they have a choice in their care, and they can reach out to another therapist on campus. Yes.
That's really good. I see people typing it, and that's what I mean. We have an active studio audience that will literally type what you're talking about. Clinical mental health counseling is offered on college campuses around the country, and you heard it right here on the Kim Jacobs Show. If you haven't heard it before, which I am a whole parent of 5 children and didn't know that was the case. So thank you so much for sharing that, Elisa. Can those therapists prescribe medications? Do you know?
Well, there's a tier level. Okay, so clinical mental health counselors are not licensed to prescribe.
Okay.
But a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a primary care physician can prescribe. Okay. So clinical mental health counselors, we have a limit. Now, we did have to take psychopharmacology, so we do know about the medications so that we can help our clients understand how to navigate the what they may be dealing with the medications and mental health wellness, but we do not prescribe.
Interesting. And now Mackenzie also said, it was another comment. She said that her therapist when she was in college was a great help to her. So just again, an endorsement to everything that you're saying. Utilizing those resources that are available to you is very important. Y'all, where's the green? Where's your green?
Oh,
what does that mean? I don't understand.
Because today is St. Patrick's Day. So how about I hold up this gem? Is that good?
That's so funny. I totally.
You have plants, Kim.
You can tell how much. Yeah, you can tell how much I know. I focus on stuff like that. And if she had said it was, does Jesus save? I'd be like, yes, Lord. Okay, I'll find something great. Okay, anyway. So thank you so much, Mackenzie. See, you could have called me and told me backstage to wear some green. Yeah, okay. Good morning. Good morning to you too. And all of you that are tuning in today, we're talking again, for those that are just tuning in, we're talking with clinical therapist, mental health therapist, Elisa Rogers. And she's talking to us about grief, pieces of peace. And so right now we've just been talking about trauma and dealing with some loss and different things, but I would like for us to transition right after this commercial break. We're going to start talking about grief and how do we really piece some of these pieces of the puzzle together. We'll be right back, everyone, right after this commercial break. We'll be back.
Hi, I'm Kim Jacobs, the Managing Director of the Charlotte, North Carolina chapter of eWomen Network. I am so excited that you stopped to watch this video. I've got good news for you. You've just discovered an international network of women entrepreneurs who are committed to helping you achieve, succeed, and prosper. We're on a mission here to help 1 million women entrepreneurs each achieve $1 million in annual revenue. Here at eWomen Network, we have a complete success system that supports you every step of the way in building and growing your business. You being here right now, it's no accident. We're supposed to know about you. We want to meet you to find out how we can help you as well as learn about what you have to offer. With over 500,000 women connected through 118 chapters across the United States, Canada, Australia, and the United Kingdom, you are never alone. If this is resonating with you, please go to ewomennetwork.com/Charlotte. Notice too my contact information. I invite you to reach out to me and to check out our upcoming in-person and online events. I'm really looking forward to introducing you to our special community.
All right, everyone, I'm back with something green. There you have it. Okay. Thank you so much, Mackenzie. And this green pendant is actually something that Vicki L. Evans gave to me. Her mom, who transitioned from this earth, she only has certain pieces that she keeps in loving memory of her mom, Miss Ruby. And guess what? She gave me one of these pieces. So I just take it very seriously. Even though it's meaningful, it's still green. All right. So I did with the commercial share with you all of that with eWomen Network. This week we have an event coming up, and if you're not in the house, you're missing out on a tremendous treat. We have Dr. Marcia Alston. All women business entrepreneurs need to come in and be a part of this event. We're talking about shifting your mindset, and it's Thursday, March 20th. Now, again, if you're watching this event and it's after the fact, because I do replay episodes, make sure you just visit ewomennetwork.com/Charlotte to learn more. And we do have our summit coming up here in Charlotte, North Carolina as well. And tickets definitely sell out very fast for this. Right now, people have already registered from Florida and Georgia, and they're coming in for this event, Tennessee. But we want to make sure that you are in the house if you're in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. So go ahead and register for our upcoming summit, May 7th. Let's talk about grief, Alisa. I know that you're also a grief expert, in my opinion. So talk from your perspective about what it means for people to grieve and how they can get through that process.
Well, grief is usually, in the past, grief was seen as linear. With certain stages. Mm-hmm. You know, you go through the stages and then you're done. But now we see grief as being more fluid. Mm-hmm. And we may vacillate back to an area that we initially may have thought we were well in, okay, but something else may happen that triggers us that will bring us back to a place where we struggle. So when we look at grief and loss, it's important that we understand that, thank you so much, there are stages of grief. You go from quote unquote normal functioning to the ability to return to meaningful life. There's shock and denial, anger, depression and detachment, dialogue and bargaining, acceptance, and then this new area, this sixth area that really allows you to transition back to meaningful life.
Okay, that's interesting. So this particular diagram, I've seen the stages of grief many times over, but the way that this is visually shared, I really appreciate the breakdown of it, because every single component of that is something that I know I've personally experienced. And when you're going through this, you don't realize that you're even in the phases. Mm-hmm. You're just going through life and you're like, what is going on with me? You don't realize that you're in this spectrum of a grief phase.
Yes. So when we go through grief and loss, different people experience grief and loss differently. Mm-hmm. Some people may have a mask where they're more productive because they're actually emotionally running from what they need to process through.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay. Now, when grief and loss becomes so debilitating that a person cannot move forward in their lives, additional care is needed. And that is where the mental health care component would come in. But just because someone goes through the stages of the grief cycle doesn't mean they need therapy. It means they're going through grief, right? But if any of these areas is almost like a record, and has a scratch in it, and it cannot keep going, if a person is emotionally stuck, then clinical mental health counseling will help them process where they are and allow them to come up and out of whatever they're in.
That's good. So I see one of the questions that I had asked you about earlier, which is mental health care for people who are resistant or in denial. This is that broken record that you're kind of describing?
Well, the broken record can be for anyone, whether they're going into therapy or they're in denial.
Okay.
The denial part is what can frustrate people who, as you were saying earlier, they see a person has a need for help, but they are in denial of it.
Oh, right. What I was talking about earlier.
Yes.
So I know we're talking about a variety of things, and that's because personally, I believe you wear a lot of hats you're very well versed in trauma, loss, putting a lot of different pieces of the puzzle together for people that are trying to really balance their own mental health. And that's the whole world, in my opinion. So let's talk for one more second here about being resistant in denying it from their own. They're just in denial. They're like, no, nothing's wrong with me. Something's wrong with everyone else. Talk about that for a moment.
So ethically, we cannot make anyone receive therapy. If they are not a danger to themselves, if they are not a danger to others, we cannot force them to receive therapy. Now, are there some people that need therapy that can go through time, maybe a decade, not receive therapy and experience wellness? Yes, that is possible.
Okay.
But we don't want people to have to spend a decade of their lives trying to figure out how to be well when they could have been well in a more efficient and a more effective manner. So if someone is in denial, we cannot make them receive help. All we can do is give them unsolicited recommendations that allow them to look at where they are and where they would want to be. And if we can help connect the dots of where they are and where they want to be and combine mental health care with where they want to be, they may see a need in it. Other people have to hit rock bottom.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're saying it like a work of art over there, like how you look as this beautiful work of art. I was thinking when I've tried to do that with people, that is exactly what you're getting ready to talk about now. What happens? They don't want to hear that.
They don't want to hear it. And we can't make them hear it. And that's what hurts people who love those who need care. But with where we are, we cannot make them. And that's why I brought up the story when I was on campus, the college student, the Department of Mental Health Care said, you can give the student the directions to our office. If they want you to, you can walk with them, but you cannot make them go.
That is such good advice. So there are some people, unfortunately, you never want to wash your hands of anybody because you can see that it's something that's wrong. And it's not for us to judge one way or the other, because many times the people that we think something's wrong with them, they think something's wrong with us. So it's like, no, you go get your own help. No, you get your help. And it's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. At the end of the day, somebody got to get some help.
Yes.
But whenever a person is not willing to get the help, do you recommend wiping your hands and saying, until you get the help, then I'll be here? Or do you say, I recognize that you need the help, and because I see you're not getting it, I'll just be for you here the way as best as I can, but safeguarding myself? What do you recommend?
So you've asked a layered question.
I know.
There are some people who, depending on what they need help for, let's say, for example, substance abuse,
Okay.
okay, that will require a type of tough love that you must have boundaries and non-negotiables. And if a person is stealing from the home, doing nefarious things in the home, then you may have a boundary that says, until you get care, until you get help for your substance abuse, you cannot come in this home. That's like a hard stop. That's a hard stop. That's a, I love you. I said what I said. And when you're ready to come back into this home, you prove that by getting help. Okay. That's that. Now, there are other people who you may see, they may lose their jobs. They may lose their homes. They may lose their cars if they don't, they may lose their marriages, their relationships with their children if they don't get help.
Yes.
That's something a little different. And if you are not in the immediate family, in the home, then you may want to keep an open door, in the sense, I've shared with you the need that I see that you have. I am not going to be able to be for you what you need, because you need mental health. So if you call me at 3 a.m. and you want to talk for an hour, I may not be a candidate for that, because you need a higher level of care. Wow. My friendship is one thing. Mental health is something else. And if we are going to remain friends, I cannot be your therapist.
You said that so eloquently. I mean, I just need to record this, because that is so good what you're saying. Anybody else in the comment section, please put some comments, some emojis that this is helpful. Thank you, Alyssa. Even just hashtag Alyssa Rogers. It's ALYSSARODGERS. And we have audio podcast listeners on iHeartRadio. So if I spell stuff out, that's why. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. So it's important that the person who believes that their friend and or loved one needs help, that you don't box yourself into feeling like you have to be something that you are not. There's a reason why therapists don't offer therapy to their family members, friends, and loved ones, because you're too close, right? So if you are not a therapist and you are, say, a parent of a child that you believe is maybe in a detrimental relationship,
right, and
they need to process behaviors that they have normalized, that they need to see as being toxic, they need therapy. You don't want to wash your hands of your child.
No. Or your friends or your family or your loved ones, people that you really care about.
Exactly. So if they're not robbing from you, if they're not taking from you, if you don't have to have a boundary of you cannot come back into my life until you receive care, if that's not what it is, then you have to have a different set of boundaries where you say, I am this label. I am this to you. I want you to be well. And in order to do that, I encourage you to receive mental health care. If you had a toothache and you told me as your sister, sis, my tooth is hurting, I am not going to go get some tools online and try to fix your tooth. I might refer you to my dentist, So allowing your relationship to stay what it is and honor the need for something else is there's nothing wrong with that. And you do not have to wash your hands of the person, but you will need to have boundaries to say, this is within my circle of control to be your friend, to be your mom, to be your therapist is outside of my circle of control.
Alisa, you have all, I mean, I know we have an hour, but in this short period of time, you've actually helped transform my thinking on how I'm dealing. Let me put this. So I'll do my own little plug here. Okay. So I'm Kim Jacobs, host of the Kim Jacobs Show, where we're bringing balance to the world one household at a time. And I am definitely endorsing what Elisa Rogers is sharing with people, because at the end of the day, the way we think really determines the outcome of our destiny. And so, Elisa, you've shared some things today here on the Kim Jacobs Show that have made me think differently pertaining to how I handle people. Instead of trying to fix everyone in different regards, I'm literally going to just say, this is what I am to you. Thanks to Elisa Rogers. All right. That's fine. That's just in case she wants to use that bite-sized piece right there for anything in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And if you're learning something, please, whatever you're learning as a takeaway from today's episode, type it in the comments section and let us know what you're learning. I can see lots of comments. Put some of the comments up, Mackenzie, from backstage, if you put some of those up. Okay, let's see. What do we do if someone doesn't have insurance but won't take help for rehab, or nothing, says that she's sober, but we think she's still using?
So again, and there are places where people can go, they can pay out of pocket. So just because they don't have insurance doesn't mean they won't be able to get help. If they have Medicaid, Medicare, there are some places that take Medicaid and Medicare.
Yes.
But again, if the person does not want help, you cannot make them. So now, if they're telling you, I don't need help, and you believe that they do, now it's time for you to evaluate what your non-negotiables are.
That's good.
What are you willing to accept or not accept to maintain this relationship? You can love them without enabling them.
Okay. So you can love them without enabling them. Doesn't mean that you have to walk away from the person or in the relationship. Love them without enabling them. Now, you also say that you're a play therapist. And how do you approach counseling children and families that's dealing with trauma or major life transitions?
So play therapy is a wonderful tool that allows children to express what they feel, even though they don't have the vocabulary or the life experiences that adults do. So a play therapist's room will have so many different types of items, toys, things that may seem regular to a person, but it actually will be used in a therapeutic way. And the therapist will usually have a plan for that session. And of course, after going through the assessment, the therapist will know the areas of need, will know the therapeutic goals, and then each session will allow play therapy to help meet the therapeutic needs with the goals. For example, let's say there is a child who witnessed their father passing out from a heart attack.
Right.
Well, having a dollhouse will allow the child to say where they were when they heard the commotion
in the house.
In the house. And then having a little toy ambulance and little people, little dolls will allow the child to role play what they saw from their vantage point when the EMT went into the home and the father was taken off the floor. We might have to make a little stretcher out of straws, a tape, and a paper towel. We were flexible to allow the child to have whatever they need to finish role playing. And then once the child role plays, then the therapist can allow the child go from beginning to end, because what you don't want to do is allow the child's imagination to fix the problem, because that enables denial.
Okay.
So the child goes from the beginning to the end of the trauma, and then as needed, the therapist will engage the child if the child feels stuck.
Wow. So this is, I mean, you're well versed in a lot of different subject matters and areas of expertise, because when I encountered you was actually with the North Carolina Second Jurisdiction Church of God in Christ. We're in that jurisdiction together under Bishop Stenneth Emmanuel Powell as our leader, Mother Patricia D. Lofton as our state supervisor of women. And so when I encountered you, it was focusing more on grief in that particular presentation. But now I see that you've actually been over 15 years or so in dealing with higher education and adjunct instructor and all of these other hats that I'm learning about. What do you enjoy most about working with the students that you have been mentoring along the years?
Oh, seeing them move forward and then come back and say, Miss Elisa, guess what I'm doing?
What?
And to let me know where they are professionally, to let me know how they're no longer where they were when they first met me. It's fulfilling. It is fulfilling. And to know that they are on a road towards wellness, or they may have emotionally healed. And now when they have their own families, they will not be repeating the toxicity that they experienced.
So you can see when you're in your mojo, I don't know the right words for it, but when you're in your element, right, in your world, you can see that the gifting that God entrusted you with, you are literally making a difference in a family's entire generations to come because of what he's doing as gifting through you. Do you see that? Because that's what I see.
I see that when my clients tell me, or when I'm looking at how goals are being measured and how they are achieving them. That is oftentimes when I see it, but sometimes I'm so close, I'm in the moment. I see the daily win, or I see the weekly win or the monthly win. And then when I go back and I look at the goals and see where we need to adjust, this is awesome.
Yes. Well, you may not pat yourself on your back, but I'm over here. Look, click, 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 click. I'm celebrating. I'm big on celebrating people. And I think it's so important that we celebrate each other and that we lift each other up. And again, I don't know if you ever heard that quote where it says flowers don't ever compete. They just let the other flowers bloom. So all of the flowers get to bloom. And I am so excited about how you're blooming. I'm just so godly grateful. Okay. I could spend the whole show complimenting you for sure. Well, I will tell you this, that we are doing a training, and I don't usually say it right on the show, but you should have a show. Anybody that agrees with me, put it in the comment section that this woman has to take the training to go through how to start her own show from scratch. Okay. The next training starts on Monday, and this woman, you need to be in that class because the whole world is missing out by you not using your gift of coming on however frequently as a one-stop shop for people to connect to get this information. Because every one of these areas are their own episodes, themes, a whole segments for weeks to come. You can have themes on these topics individually broken down. But anybody, let me talk about what I really want to say to everybody else too. If you're interested in starting your own show and you would like to do it in a small group setting, right from the comfort of your home, I offer this training to you. It's a 6-week training course, and I teach you everything that you pretty much need to know on how to start the show, how to get your guests, how to make sure that you don't have a bunch of blanks on your calendar, how to make sure you have the right equipment, all of those things, the technical assistance, so you're not fearful of being able to go live on all of these different platforms. And Les Brown does an endorsement video over on kimjacobsconsulting.com if you want to see that video. But please reach out at 704-962-7161. And we'd love to, if you're one of the 5 students, to include you in our next training session. And I hope you will be in that session, Elisa. I hope so. All right. So you are also heavily involved in ministry. And so I really want to talk from that perspective as well, with your extensive involvement in the Kojic Church of God in Christ field and world. What are some of the ways that you have evolved just because of the fact that you are so heavily involved in ministry?
Well, it goes back to something else you asked me earlier in terms of how did I kind of get into therapy.
Mhm.
And when I was Big Sister Sunshine, back when I was in college at Faith Tabernacle Church of God in Christ in Peoria, Illinois, I was, teaching the Sunshiners songs. And then I navigated to being the Sunday school teacher for the children's class. And then the children would share things with me. And that let me know there is a need for them to be seen and heard.
Yes.
There's a need for them to know that a safe person exists. And then over time, of course, always the choir, usher board, and then got into district work. I was district chair lady for a little bit. I was district field representative for a little bit. And now here in this phase of my life, I am so grateful to be a part of the International Department of Women Mental Health Professional Association.
Okay.
So I am actually working with the International Church of God in Christ in mental health and in Business and Professional Women's Federation. So
yes, Tanisha Sharp. I love Tanisha. Minister Tanisha, we adore her. She's the president of the North Carolina Second Jurisdiction Women Business Professional Women.
Yes.
And recently just had a reset event as well, if I'm not mistaken, that just happened. And she's the president of that organization.
Yes.
Department within the Church of God in Christ. And I salute her and honor her today. So with mental health, no matter what walk of life it is, based on what I'm understanding, it's not just for people in the world, it's people in the church that need to experience this too.
Correct. And when the stigma is reduced and ultimately eliminated, then people can realize I can be saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, and have a therapist.
Saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, and have a therapist. And I can definitely tell you that I personally had to have my own counseling with my therapist whenever my son transitioned. And not just when my son transitioned, I'm big on getting counseling, period, because I think that it's something that is a maintenance situation. You shouldn't only have a counselor when everything's bad, but I just need to talk to somebody and I interview people and I'll realize, oh God, they said they saw me on a whole billboard. I don't want them. You cannot be my therapist. You cannot be my counselor. You saw me on a billboard. You know me. I need somebody that just does not know me. So a Christian woman that does not know me at that level. And I became a better person as a result of going for counseling. So,
you raise a really good point. In my program, I was surprised to learn that not all licensed or accredited counseling programs require therapists to have therapy. But in my clinical mental health master's program, we could have our practicum, which was about 300 so hours. We could have our practicum without having therapy, but we could not do any of our 600-hour internship hours until we had therapy. We had to have, it was a whole class, and we had to have therapy, and it had to be stretched out. We couldn't cram it all in 1 month. We had to stretch it out. We had to walk in, fill out the paperwork. We had to experience what we want our clients to experience. And how can we help anyone if we have not fully addressed any hidden or unearthed trauma that's in our lives?
I agree wholeheartedly. And all of us have experienced some level of trauma. So that's why I think all of us need some level of counseling. And so, yes, I'm definitely in a chair listening and pouring out my soul and then getting the feedback and things that I can implement immediately in my life. I do want to encourage you all, if you have not partnered with us with the Kim Jacobs Show and you have not poured into our program, we bring balance to your household Monday through Friday with wonderful guests like Elisa Rogers and many others that come on. So take a moment, if you would, to just sowing into some really good ground, because I know that the information that we're providing is helping to provide that missing piece of the puzzle that may be in your home and bringing more synergy and more harmony to your home. So please make sure that you Venmo at the Kim Jacobs Show. Again, to the audio podcast listeners, paypal.me/Kim Jacobs Inc. You can even do Zelle or Apple Cash, I think it is. And that's 704-962-7161. And it helps our program continue to thrive from community contributions like yours. So thank you so much. Elisa, you have a beautiful family, and I want to make sure that I get a chance to say something about, is this your talk to us?
Yes. So the man in the middle is my husband, Dr. Derek D. Rogers Sr. He earned his doctorate in strategic leadership last year. The young man in the red jacket is my son, Derek Rogers Jr., DJ. He's a senior basketball player and, Lord willing, will graduate in May.
Oh my God, beautiful family. I can't even hardly look at the family looking at your green jacket though. Your family is beautiful and handsome and all, but that jacket is also very.
I'll tell you where I got it off the show.
Okay, that's called what we call the after party stuff, y'all. Okay, that jacket is nice. And look at you and your family look so stunning, and I'm so happy for you. How do you balance all of the different hats that you wear, managing the family, managing everyone else's mental health and your own? How do you balance that?
Well, starts off with self-care.
Okay.
I have learned self-care is not selfish. Okay. And I have to do what I do. For example, treadmill. I need to do something. I need to get my endorphins going. I need to do that. I like to make jewelry. I make earrings out of recycled paper. So I like to work with my hands, right? The other thing about balance is interesting, because if you look at a pound of feathers versus a pound of pebbles, it's going to look different. And I have learned that balance may be fluid depending on the season that I'm in. That's right. I may have to give more to one area of my life because that's the season that I'm in. I still do what I can, but I am not going to try to be 100% at each level because that may not be realistic for me in that season.
That's right. I'm a big believer that God knew exactly what season we would be in. And so it doesn't mean that we're out of balance or out of sync with God's will for our lives. It's just where we are for that particular season.
Yes.
And I see a comment from my mom, Ella Spratley. She said, yes, Elisa, you need your own show. See Kim. Just make sure you see Kim. She's the lady that will train you just well and knowledgeable. Get your own show, girl. Get your own show, girl. All right.
Thank you, Mom.
Let's see what is it? What is that image of? Tell me.
Oh, that is celebrating the Women's International Convention, the 75th. That will be in St. Louis in May. Woo!
Look at all. Speaking of which, in Women's History Month, look at these beautiful women of wisdom. And
yes.
We're going to
be our prior international supervisors. Yes.
So I know I'm extremely honored to be a part of the North Carolina Second Jurisdiction. And let's see, what is this? Tell us. Okay, this is.
So on Thursday, I need to get that date right. Is it the 20? Thursday the 20?
I'll look it up right quick. Let me see.
It's on the screen. I just can't zoom in on it.
Oh, okay. Thursday, May 29th.
Thank you. So Thursday, May 29th at 11:30, I will be one of the empowerment speakers, and I will be speaking on Daddy's Girls. And it's talking about how women are able to navigate life when their fathers were not in their lives due to a variety of reasons, from death, abandonment, grief and loss, right? So I will be one of the speakers. And then the following flyer are just additional phenomenal speakers that will be also speaking on that day.
Well, speaking of which, up in the corner up there, I see Lady Lawana Grant.
Yeah.
And I want to just send a shout out to her because she is all over the world teaching and preaching and ministering about leadership. And she is also, I'm a part of the Charlotte Metro District in Charlotte, North Carolina. And she is the first lady of our district with Bishop Darrell Grant and our leading lady, which is Dr. Lawana Grant. And of course, I will never not shout out my own North Carolina second jurisdiction leading lady, Lady Beverly Powell. We have the most phenomenal leading lady in our jurisdiction as well. So I see Mother Barbara McCoo Lewis, and she's going to be spearheading this whole Department of Women International Convention in May. So you want to go ahead and make sure that you grab your tickets to that and hear this wonderful lineup. All right. Anything else that you did not get to say? I saw this. The reality, potential candidates need to be attracted to something.
Yes.
What is that about?
Did I send that to you?
Oh, I thought so.
We can talk about it, but
I thought that was something you had said. It might be for another guest. That's so funny. You're like, girl. Oh yeah, it says yeah, it's one of the attachments you sent me, but I didn't know if it was a meaning of some sort. Okay. Anyway, what we are going to say is that guess what? In life, you want to make sure that you are attracted to something. Don't just be a magnet for any old thing. Make sure that you be a magnet for what God has called you to do. Make sure you attract the right things, attract everything that God has purpose for your life, not just looking at every opportunity, especially if it's going to throw your mental health off as an opportunity. Make every opportunity only matter for what is an opportunity for you based on God's gifting and purposing for your life. Okay. So any closing comments, Elisa?
Just that if someone needs mental health care for grief and loss, that keep in mind, this is a snapshot of where they are in life.
Yes.
While there are some diagnoses that may follow a person throughout a long portion of their lives, not all diagnoses are considered to be long-term. And when a person chooses to receive help from someone that they can be real with, authentic with, transparent with, then they can heal and they can have their own emotional toolbox, because you don't need therapy forever. It's for that season.
That's so inspiring. So when we get therapy, it doesn't mean that that's because something's wrong with us. It's because something's right with us that God is trying to pull out even more of it to be exposed to the world, in my opinion, based on what I'm learning from Elisa Rogers. And how do people personally work with you? Because it's one thing to hear all of this on the show, but how do they connect to be one-on-one with you?
Well, I have my own therapy practice, Blue Brook Counseling, PLLC. Currently, I am licensed in 2 states, in Illinois and in North Carolina. I am able to offer Christian counseling that is not to accept insurance. That is only private pay. I can offer Christian counseling around the world. But for clinical mental health counseling, I do accept insurance and private pay, but for North Carolina and Illinois only.
Okay, North Carolina and Illinois only. I went on your page and got this. I hope this is okay for me to put up here.
Yes.
Blue Brook Counseling. You can reach her at 980-378-4739, 980-378-4739. And again, she is licensed in the states of
North Carolina and Illinois.
North Carolina and Illinois. So that's 2 states. I know we're in 100 countries, the show, but at
that is for clinical mental health counseling.
Okay.
For Christian counseling or for life coaching or wellness coaching, that's across the world.
Perfect.
And that would be reaching out to me under the auspices of Christian counseling or wellness or life coaching.
So listen, you guys, if you are anywhere under the sound of my voice or seeing us today here on the Kim Jacobs Show, where we're bringing balance to the world, one household at a time, you can connect with Alisa Rogers. It is going to change your life for the better. As Maya Angelou often says, listen, do the best you can until you know better. But once you know better, then you do better. And doing better is definitely connecting with Alisa Rogers. Mm-hmm. So do better. Do better for your life, for your family, for your legacy, and connect with her today. 980-378-4739. There is no shame in being able to just say, I need help. I need help. And I'm going to come to you to get it. Alisa Rogers is where I'm coming to get the help. That's what you want to do. Okay. All right, everybody. That is today's episode. Do you have anything else you want to say, Alisa?
Just thank you so much. You are infectious. You are amazing. And I celebrate you, Kim Jacobs.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Y'all make sure you pour into the Kim Jacobs Show so we can keep coming to your house Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love you all. Thank you, Mackenzie backstage. And thank you all. Oh, Kimberly Mitchell, I saw you as well. And I see all of you that I hate disconnecting without acknowledging all of my guests. It's been so many of you. I see you, Eleanor. I see you, Timothy.
Mitchell? I went to high school with Kimberly Mitchell.
Oh, well, she's on here. Timothy Mayers. I see you. I see Ruth Warner. I see you, Cheryl Askew. I see you, Dr. Eleanor. I see you, Mackenzie. I see you, Alicia. I see you, Sandra, Mother Sandra. I see all of you guys. Mother Patricia Lofton, my mom, Ella. Eon Greaves, I see you over on Instagram. Giveon Birmingham, I don't have my glasses on. I see you, McClendon. I see all of you all. Thank y'all so much for being here and for believing in the Kim Jacobs Show. I love each and every one of you, and I'll see you tomorrow at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Love you, Alisa. Stay backstage. All right, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Kim Jacobs Show and for being in the virtual studio audience. Your presence truly does make a difference, and I look forward to you bringing your friends and family to join you in the virtual studio audience Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I look forward to seeing you and make it a great day.